You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day, we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in options trading education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's Live Advantage Group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is Wednesday, February 20th, 2019. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Wednesday. The first thing to know today is Fed minutes are expected to cement dovish about face and U.S. dollar on hold. The Federal Reserve will release the minutes from its January 30th policy meeting at 2 p.m. Eastern Wednesday. Markets are expecting the details to cement the central bank's promise to be patient with further interest rate hikes. More interesting for the market may be what the minutes reveal about the Fed's plans for reducing its balance sheet further. Quantitative tightening, which Federal Reserve Chair Jeremy Powell likes to refer to as off-balance sheet runoff, is no longer on autopilot, Investing.com analyst Daryl Delamaid said. The minutes are expected to confirm the dovish outlook, and that's keeping a lid on the U.S. dollar ahead of the releases. At 5:54 a.m. Eastern, the U.S. dollar index fell overnight and was largely unchanged at 0.03% at 96.38. The second thing to note today is global stocks show mixed trade as U.S.-China trade talks persist. Global stocks were mixed on Wednesday, with U.S. futures leaning towards caution as U.S.-China trade talks continued in Washington. U.S. President Donald Trump said Tuesday that discussions were going well and suggested he was open to pushing off the deadline to complete negotiations, saying March 1st was not a magical date. March 1st is the current deadline for the U.S. to push tariffs on about $200 billion worth of Chinese imports to 25% from the current 10% if a deal is not reached. A renewed round of talks began on Tuesday in Washington, with higher-level discussion scheduled for later this week. The overall feeling is that it is one step forward, 3/4 of a step back at the moment. So positive momentum, but still fragile, Deutsche Bank chief strategist Jim Reed said. Trump's comments, coupled with positive results from retail giant Walmart, were enough to push Wall Street higher Tuesday and send Asian shares to a 4-month high overnight. European stocks also joined in, with the Pan-European Stocks 600 up 0.2%. After Tuesday's positive close, Wall Street adopted a more cautious stance, with U.S. futures largely flat pre-open. The third thing to know today is earnings focus on consumers. With nearly 400 of the S&P 500 firms having released earnings for the fourth quarter reporting period, the focus for Wednesday will shift to consumer-oriented stocks. Following a strong beat by Walmart a day earlier, some of the companies stepping up to bat are CVS Health. The consensus estimate of analysts polled by Investing.com is for a profit of $2.09 a share on revenue of $54.6 billion. Shares fell 21% between their summer peak and December and are up 11% since. Car rental company Avis Budget Group is seen reporting earnings of 38 cents a share on revenue of $2.05 billion, according to estimates compiled by Investing.com. The shares lost half their value between March and December. They're up a third from the December bottom. The Cheesecake Factory. The restaurant chain is expected to report a profit of 62 cents a share on revenue of $592.9 million. The shares fell 31% between a July peak to December and are up 11% since. The fourth thing to know today is oil drops from 2019 highs as the U.S. output rears its head. Oil prices dropped on Wednesday, pulling back from 2019 highs as attention shifted from OPEC-led production cuts to worries over the surge in U.S. output. U.S. crude oil futures fell 15 cents, or 0.27%, to $56.30 by 5:56 a.m. Eastern, while Brent oil traded down 29 cents, or 0.44%, to $66.16. U.S. crude output, which soared by more than 2 million barrels per day in 2018 to a record 11.9 million barrels per day, is set to keep rising thanks to booming shale oil production, the Energy Information Administration said on Tuesday. After oil hit its highest level since November this week, traders have taken a breather amid fears that surging shale output could stop the market rebalancing. Attention is set to turn to weekly data on U.S. crude inventories. The American Petroleum Institute will release its report later on Wednesday, with official government data out a day later amid expectations for a build of 3.1 million barrels. Both reports come out one day later than normal due to Monday's holiday. Thursday's report will also include the latest reading on U.S. production. The fifth thing to note today is the UK and EU meet as Brexit impasse drags on. Not to be forgotten, on the other side of the Atlantic, negotiations over the UK's pending departure of the European Union drag on with few hopes for progress amid the current political impasse. UK Prime Minister Theresa May is scheduled to meet with EU Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker later on Wednesday. Recent talks have yielded little progress since the British Parliament resoundingly defeated a divorce deal she had agreed to with the bloc back in November. May's spokesperson dubbed the meeting to be a significant part of the process, although Juncker remained skeptical when speaking of the planned encounter. There's not enough movement for me to be able to assume that it will be a productive discussion, he told reporters on Tuesday. At 5:57 a.m. Eastern, the British pound was down 0.21% at $1.30.33. Our second story today is from CNBC.com. Tesla to offer Model 3 leasing products to boost demand, says Electrek. Elon Musk's Tesla is preparing to launch its leasing products for Model 3, news website Electrek said on Tuesday, citing an email sent to employees. The email stated that employees will be able to lease a Model 3 within the next 2 weeks, Electrek reported, citing sources familiar with the matter. The email did not say when consumers could lease the sedan. Our third story today is also from CNBC.com. Weekly mortgage applications rise 3.6%, a sign of hope for the spring home buying season. Mortgage application volume increased 3.6% last week from the previous week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association's seasonally adjusted index. Applications to purchase a home increased 2% for the week, the first uptick in a month, a sign of optimism in the housing market. After 4 consecutive declines, purchase applications increased almost 2% over the week and 2.5% compared to a year ago, showing some promise as we edge closer to the spring home buying season, said Joel Kahn, MBA Associate Vice President. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, Wednesday, February 20th, 2019. Your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Trade smart and have a great day.
The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in options trading education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's Live Advantage Group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.